What's going on, you guys? Thank you so much for the 8,000 subscribers. That has already happened. Fucking amazing, total milestone. Just very proud of this and so excited with where I can go moving forward with Stoned Alone. With that being said, I climbed up onto the roof here. You know, it's a fucking amazing view. Got some mountains out here. I can see the ocean, the sunset. So yeah, I'm just feeling the vibe. And this really brings me back, I guess. Some memories that I haven't really revisited are the ones that I got high the first times. So I mentioned my first time ever getting high, but I never mentioned my first time getting high with friends. And it was definitely a whole different experience. You know, obviously the channel's called Stoned Alone, but being stoned with some friends is one of the best things that life can offer. So let me get right into this story. I was with my buddy, let's just say I and H. We were pretty close, you know, we hung out, we drank together a couple times, that was a whole thing. But basically, we were just, you know, went to the same school, lived in the same kind of neighborhood, so we just kind of hung out with each other. I told them I have some weed, and this was like very, very early stages. I was still like terrified of it. I was like so scared and felt so guilty every single time that I was even near it, and I would just start sweating bullets, like total anxiety anytime I saw it, just like feeling like I would get caught. So yeah, basically I took some of my dad's weed. I did it very gradually, like when he wasn't looking. Every once in a while I'd go into his jar and then like pop it open and just grab like a crumb at a time. And yeah, I think it's really funny. It's definitely a very different time. And yeah, so I did that until I got about a pills bottle worth, and that was, you know, a really large amount for me at the time. Now it's like, oh, that's good enough for one sesh, but it must have been about a gram or two. I smoked a little bit by myself, and then my then at the time girlfriend was just so dramatic about it. Like, she was literally like, oh, we can't be together if you're gonna have weed. I can't even talk to you. And it made me feel really bad about it. So whatever, we didn't know any better. You know, we're young as shit, like 15, 16. So I'm like, okay, well, can you at least give me this? Can you let me smoke the rest of this entire pill bottle in one time? I promise I'll only do it one more time. I can't just like throw it away and let it go to waste. So I convinced my girlfriend that I should be able to do that, and it was a 3-day weekend, Memorial Day. So I was like, oh fuck yeah, boy. I hit up my two friends. One of them had only smoked one time, he didn't really get high. One of them had never smoked in his entire life, but wanted to try it. So I was super excited. Some other backstory before the actual night that we got high. I took my one friend who had never tried it, and I let him smoke a little bit a day before, because I figured, you know, I heard some stories about people that smoked and didn't get high their first time because they didn't know how to inhale. So I was very excited, and I took that into account because we were only going to have this one chance I had in my mind that this would be my only time smoking. So like the day before, I let him smoke a little bit. We're watching that 70s show. I thought I was all the shit because I got a call from these like Google salesmen, and it wasn't like I was on the line with Google, like any higher ups or anything. It was basically just salesmen trying to get me to spend more money on AdWords. But anyways, so that happened. Smoked a little bit. He didn't really get high, so I'm glad that we got that experience in. So the day after, when it came to the actual time that we all smoked together, it got interesting. We get to my house, and it's kind of like a sleepover situation, and we're just waiting upstairs because my dad always chills in the basement. That was our chill spot. It had the TV, the computers, all that shit. So we were waiting for him to finish up. Every night he's always on his laptop doing some Twitter. So we're just sitting in the middle floor like, fuck, I want to smoke, I want to smoke, I want to smoke, and just like building up this huge buildup, like, oh man, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. And it wasn't until about 9 or 10 o'clock when he actually packed it in. And I remember this is just like the worst moment from the walk upstairs. they brought pajamas because we thought this all out. This is how fucking excited we were to try weed. We got all pajamas. We're like, man, we're gonna be as comfortable as we can for this situation. We got a bunch of munchies, like all the shit. So they're like, okay, should we just change? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So we change into our pajamas right in the middle floor. My dad walks up right as they're standing in the boxers, and then he just says, whoa. Oh, looks like you guys are having fun. He just like walked upstairs, and it felt really fucking awkward. And but we were like, okay, we're in. We all rushed downstairs. We put all the munchies onto the table. Like, we had the table fucking set. Like, we had everything set up. And basically what I would do for a trip. But this was our first time smoking it. Man, this was a fucking great memory. So as we're getting all the munchies set up, my dad actually does come back downstairs one time. So good thing we were doing that and not smoking. But then he's like, all right, good night, I'm packing it in. He goes upstairs. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, boy. We grab a water bottle. We make a waterfall bong because I was looking vigorously on Reddit for fucking weeks on how to make the best DIY bongs, and like, shout outs to Reddit, the whole trees, like everything, because that had so much invaluable knowledge. Like, we had never even smoked and we already knew how to like do the shits. So, one waterfall bong, one gravity bong from a 2-liter, and that was basically our setup. So excited. So we pack the first bowl. We put the fucking quarter inside of the pill bottle, shake it up so it grinds it, stick it in the makeshift bowl, and then let go of the waterfall bong. I think they asked me to take the first hit, and it's hilarious. There's nothing more confident than a 15-year-old who has smoked one time talking to a 15-year-old who has never smoked before. Or it's just, I was like, no, I know how to do this, guys, I got this. But I kind of demonstrated it for them. I take the first hit from the waterfall, I'm already like, oh boy, I'm feeling the zootedness. And then, yeah, basically that's just what happened. We kept taking turns. We barely smoked any, just like half a gram. We were already like fucking high, and it was like, this is awesome. We turned on Netflix. We watched Kung Fury. They didn't fucking like it for some reason, but I was vibing out to it. And then, this is when I started getting so high that it was like, what are we even watching? And then I realized, you know, like, for the cleanup, and the whole purpose of the time was, we all promised that we would never touch it again. Because, once again, the weed stigma, we did feel like it was a bad thing. Like, it was such a contradicting feeling, because while high, we're like, this is the best feeling that I've ever felt in the entire world. This is beautiful, this is amazing. But then another part of the brain's like, you can't do this, because, you know that it's bad, because fucking whatever, some adults said it was bad at some point. So we kept having that contradiction. But the thing was, we thought we were only going to smoke it that one night. So I'm like, we have to finish all the evidence, right, guys? And they were like, yeah. Comfortably Numb's playing. My friend actually starts crying because we're thinking about deep stuff in life. And instead of like making fun of him, like if we were drunk or something, we're like, what's wrong, buddy? And we were all being super good vibes. And then we're like thinking about life. And I was like, man, this is great. And then while the Pink Floyd's still on, we're like, okay, see ya. We're gonna go inside and smoke more weed. And I remember just getting so high that you take the hit, and then you feel the world kind of like inversing in on your face. And this is how I used to gauge if I was high. If I would do the inhale, and on the inhale, I would feel my lips going into my mouth, and then my face kind of doing that inwards thing. That's how I knew I was high, and that's how I would gauge it back then. Because just like, fucking crazy as shit. So we were definitely very high, and then I just sit down on the floor, and my vision makes it look like the room just stretches out like it's a fucking entire living room, but we're just in that tiny little bathroom that I shot so many of the vids in. And this is why I always loved that bathroom. Like, it's so fucking tiny. There's literally like this much space, and there's 3 of us squeezed together over the sink doing the waterfall and gravity bong. And then one of my friends couldn't even use the gravity bong. We're too high. And you like push down and all the water spilled out. We're like, oh shit. So yeah, I sit down on the floor, and my entire vision makes it seem like I sink into the corner, and it was like, it felt good. I was just like, whoa, like my entire body's just part of the fucking corner. And then we hear my friend just like, it sounded like he was hysterically crying outside. He was like, ah, ah, he was like yelling, and we're like, what's wrong, buddy? Like, I gotta get up off the floor, get unstuck from the corner, and we slide the door open. We're like, what's wrong? But he's just fucking crawling on the floor, and he wasn't crying. He was just going, I'm melting. I'm fucking melting. And I'm so okay with this 3-month tea break because I know for a fact I'm gonna be fucking melting when I get back to smoking, and it was just the best feeling that I had ever felt, best sensation that I had ever experienced in my entire life, just literally fucking melting. So there's a lot of that going on. So as for actual events that happened that night, we really just did watch Netflix, but for actual experience, like how it felt living that, best fucking time of my life. Like seriously, this is why I love doing Stoned Alone. Like this is just, I knew in that moment, I was like, there's literally nothing fucking better than this. And we didn't even spend like any money. We just had some munchies and sat around in a basement, and somehow that was the most enlightening and best experience that we've ever had, just sharing that together. Like holy fuck. And yeah, so I'm not kidding, like I don't know, I think I see on Reddit sometimes like people talking about their first times getting high, and there would be people calling them out like, bullshit, you can't feel that on weed. But seriously, like I know how it feels to be high. I was fucking melting. We were all fucking melting. And the best part was, since I was high like one time, I knew how to get them to feel what I was feeling. So I'll just keep talking about the melting until they started realizing it too. And they're like, oh shit, we are melting, and just like intensified it. And I pulled out the pull-out bed. We all get up on there, just eating the shit out of a bunch of munchies. And thank God for Netflix, because we just didn't feel like doing anything, you know? So we just have like one remote for the Google TV and just like watch a bunch of Netflix stuff. We watched Scared Straight, which was just unbelievably funny. They're like, weed will ruin your life. We're just melting in the couch like, ha, fucking bullshit. So, I don't know. I think the answer is just has always been there and was very obvious at that point. I always say this, but good fucking vibes. You know, it was just unbelievable how much better that felt than like insulting a friend or being a dick to them. And you know what, I'm gonna call them out. I had a great fucking time there, but that's not to say that they weren't still dicks. Like, we were really good friends, but when we were upstairs, before we went down to smoke weed, one of those friends was literally making fun of me for being a Buddhist. Like, he was picking up our Buddhist artifacts and stuff that my mom was using, and he was like making like hoing 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 hoing, like that kind of racist shit. Like, that's not cool. But you know, like, we were able to smoke weed and all just mellow out and just treat each other with respect and good vibes, because you know, it's infinitely better. It's unfucking believable how much better it is to treat everybody fantastically and to be treated that way in return. So that was very apparent during that time. I don't know if it was for them, but you know, it definitely was for me. And like, you know, I didn't know that I wanted to do weed tube at that time, but I knew I wanted to do something about this. I thought it was fucking sinister that this was illegal, that this is, you know, something that they label people who do it as criminals, and they lock people up for it, and it happens on a constant fucking basis, and we were terrified of being caught with it, even though it was just such an improvement and expansion to our consciousness. Like, it was such a weird thing. So I think that was definitely the message I got from that. Stay fucking stoned, everybody. Don't ever get let down by the people stigmatizing you for it or thinking that you're a deadbeat for it. Prove them fucking wrong. That's the part that you do have to do. Get as high as fuck as you want to. It's the greatest thing in the world, and go after anything that you want to in life. Like, it's too fucking fantastic. Weed is just, it's so fucking good. And like, I don't know. It put a huge smile on my face at that time, thinking like, Denver's a real place. Like, one day Like, one day I'll be able to visit there. One day I'll be smoking and I won't be in fear. I won't be locked in this bathroom in a basement where we're frantically spraying Febreze so nobody finds out, you know? Like, I kept thinking about that one fucking day. Ooh, so fucking excited. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this story. I definitely did. This is, yeah, you know, big fucking point in my life. First time doing that shit with friends. Whew, it's crazy. Alright, see you. Stay fucking high.
Hello, you've reached the house of unrecognized talent. Please start after the